Today we are talking about Cheddar and some few controversies surrounding some of his interviews, and some of the things he has said. For me, where I'm coming from, but before, please, you know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe, and leave your comment. Don't forget, leave your comment, because we've realized a lot of people watch, they don't like and share. So please like and share and leave your comment. So this is the thing. Whoever controls your media space, controls your narrative. That is what I've learned in life. And there are some few questions I want to ask my guy here and that boy in the corner. It's simple. We've been able to listen to some stuff about Cheddar, He has talked about his lions. He has talked about investing in people. Over 100 million people.
1 million.
1 million.
He wants to create 1 million.
He wants to create millionaires. All these are brilliant ideas, especially with the 1 million one. But we tend to focus more on what I call the unnecessary stuff, like the tiger he talked about. He talked about the tiger because he has a zoo he's planning to open. But the focus has been on the tiger. The media focus has been on the tiger. Or the tigers, let me put it that way. And he talked about feeding them every 3 days with a huge cow.
I've been feeding them. I fed them with one cow every 3 days, the two of them.
It depends on the cow.
Yeah.
He didn't state whether I'm a bull or whatever.
Yeah.
And that is what the media just went talking about. What do you think? What is your take? Actually, what is your take on the tiger issue?
I don't think it's anything that people should even focus on, because like you said, we are not focusing on the important aspect of why he even brought the tigers in the first place. Because he said that if other people from other countries can own something that belongs to Africa, with a white tiger thing, and just to bring some facts, Africa doesn't have tigers. We have lions, but we don't have tigers. And let alone white tigers. So he said he wanted to bring the tigers to Africa to prove a point that we can also own tigers on the continent. We have a lot of lions, but we don't have tigers. But that aside, I think that he's saying that he feeds the tigers every 3 days with one cow. I don't think this is something, he's wealthy enough to do that. If you want to do something on your own, go and do it yourself. But I don't think he'll come and lie about giving the tiger. And we all know tigers eat a lot, and they eat a lot of fresh meat. So is he feeding with them with human beings? No. What would he gain if he comes to say that he's feeding the tigers every 3 days with one cow? He can afford it, and that's what tigers eat. So I don't even really see the point. I think we should look at the most important thing here is to look at the reason he's given why he brought the tigers to Ghana, and not how much he's feeding them on. Like you said, in that interview, he said so many important things. Why are we just focusing on that thing? That's so trivial.
So he said it's trivial. But do you think the media or some media, like the media companies in all over the world actually, tend to focus on the unnecessary stuff just to take the minds off the critical things that is going on in the country?
I don't think it's consciously done. Some do though. I mean, for clickbait and everything. But I think most of it, I think, like we said, negativity sells, right? I mean, it's not like you're not gonna say, oh, this guy did something great today for humanity, and everybody's gonna sit down and watch. People want to see negative stuff. It's just like war, right? War is good business. But what my only take is, at the end of the day, I mean, just like any other species, right? Cows or cattle. There are bigger ones, short ones, heavier ones, thinner ones, whatever they are.
Ones, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So if he says that, he did not say I buy them like 300-pound cow, right? So we don't really know what he feeds these animals. But at the end of the day, does he have the capacity to do so?
But should it be a news?
But that's what I'm saying. Does he even have the capacity to feed his tigers like one cow even a day per day? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So like I'm saying, why is this even trending? The guy says a lot of things. The most important thing is poke questions into what he plans to deliver as a leader when given the mandate, right? He's an aspiring presidential candidate. So that's what we got to focus on. things that he plans, we got to start poking holes into. We got to really try to get into his state of mind, right? Is it all like, a braggadocious, attempt to get eyes on him? Or just to kind of maximize his empire that he's building? So these are stuff we got to look into. Not feeding his tigers. So his tigers do eat. He feeds them. Yeah. So whether it's 1 cow a day, 1 every week, what difference does it really make? So coming to the negativity part about the media, I think it's normal. I mean, I think every media kind of thrives on the negative news, right? I have yet to see a media outlet that only reports positive stuff, and they've actually made it, or they've been...
Right. For me, what's interesting is when he emphasizes that he brought the tigers for a point. If he wanted pets, he could have owned tigers as pets. He's capable of doing that. But the reason he gives is he looked around and we don't have any tigers in Africa or in West Africa, if I must say. And he also had a long-term goal of building a zoo, which he claims he has done, which will be commissioned soon. So it will be cool that people can come from around the sub-region just to visit Ghana to see tigers, because Ghana has white tigers. So people are not looking at that aspect. They're only looking at, your own tigers. And even when he brought the tigers, people didn't, even the government was on his neck for having tigers in his house. But he said the end goal was eventually to put them in a zoo. That would be beneficial to the country. So yes, I think it's been trivialized, and like you said, media runs on negativity. But I think that we should implore everyone to always look at the positive side as well, and not always just the negative part.
Yeah, we can't always go on that negative road all the time, because he hasn't helped in any way.
Right.
You said something about poking holes into some of the things he says, especially the ones that will bring changes, development. He talked about his dream of turning 100 million people into
1 million people
1 million people. Yes, 1 million into millionaires.
We are negative. I am here. I want to make 1 million millionaires. And I'm serious.
Is it possible? And how can he do it? That is the question I would have asked if he was sitting here with me, but he's not. How do you think he can get that done?
I think that is just... It's something that he's the only one who can answer this question, right?
Because it's a dream, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like he's also not letting a lot of things off his sleeve, so to speak, because he hasn't been given the mandate yet, so he does not really see the need to be given all the details, because oppositions can kind of
pick up
his ideas, filter through it, put in their manifesto, and let it look like it's the original idea. So I think he's being cautious about what he kind of lets the public in on, and I think he's gonna decimate those answers down the road. But for now, I don't know. He's just saying and doing what he thinks.
Live tight.
Yeah, I think they all got strategies in ways to convince people to
right. He actually says a bit about it. He doesn't go into detail, but he always says that if you make 1 million millionaires, it's going to trickle down. Because as I earn here, assuming I earn say $5,000 a year, and all of a sudden you give me some business ideas, or you create some kind of enabling environment that helps me make $1 million at least. Am I going to sit down and just spend that money? No. Whoever made that million is going to create businesses. He's going to employ people. And out of that, other people are also going to tap into that small business or industry created by that millionaire.
Yeah, that part I heard, but
opportunities.
I feel like that part was just the aftermath, right?
Yeah,
the after effect, or the ripple effect after that, or the cascade effect, whatever the word is. But I think what your question was how is he going to do that? But I don't think any of us can really speak on his behalf.
Yeah.
All right.
How he's going to do that?
It was on the presenter to poke that question. Yeah.
Right. I think so.
And get that question from him. He didn't do it.
Right.
But this is where I come back to the main topic, the narrative of the media. He made mention of some media, some web pages and a media page that are not for Ghanaians.
Right.
Ghana mai me chiamo. Na ya no se matia omo se me si metokro no nyina. Na me kohwehwe mu na media mienu pe ene omo de saa ansem wei epie se ne omo be sei enipa na dwene ne nkofo mu di machi no na omo tu omo de omo tia me na me hwe mu no so no saa media we tu yi ye freba ko Ghana web ene ye freba ko Post Ghana saa ye kasa nyina Ghana web eye bronidia broni so te Holland Your friend Robert Ballard, what take outside your crew, and our high and crofo. Nani or peso or moka. Pause Ghana, and also your Bruni. Bruni Accra, your friend Leonard Stigler, are also Sweden and we're free. Only 36 simple.
And that, I sat and I was like, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
for all these years. He mentioned Ghana Web.
I thought it was government owned, to be honest.
Truly. Because I talked about, a friend of mine, we talked about it, how they sometimes present the news.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go there and you read the news, you go to my journal online, the same news, but the presentation is different. You understand? So I was like, okay. So this is where I kind of think, what do we actually own as a country?
I think,
especially with the media space.
right.
Because the media can make or break a country.
Right.
So this particular area, every government focus should be there. Because things that people print and say through that particular media platform, it can make make or unmake a country. So why have we allowed that? That is my question, my general question. How come we've allowed our media space just like that? Like you can feel.
Yeah, when you
no
say
control.
we, what do you mean by we?
I know you know
No.
you are not.
The thing is, you have to look at it from this angle.
I say
We're
we.
not-
I'm looking at the politicians.
Exactly.
No,
We're not
I'm looking
a
at our
country
leaders.
of
Let me put it
rules
that
and
way.
regulations, right? This is why there's so much indiscipline on the streets. Because at the end of the day, no, we go back to the biblical verses. For lack of knowledge,
My people perish.
my people perish.
Yeah.
So I'm not against expats or people from outside,
Owning
transacting and owning stuff, businesses in your local land. It's everywhere, people do it. But the most important thing, there are some spaces that the people themselves and the government has to be in control of.
Yeah.
Imagine me opening
A news outlet
in China.
Exactly, right? It's as preposterous as,
Yeah.
So this is some of the things that make outsiders look at these countries like us and they're like, people are idiots or morons in there. It's like, how can you give me that space to control? Because just like he said, the CEO, I don't even CEO, whatever he is, he's sitting somewhere in Holland, hired a bunch of people to run this, local news outlet, which is a bit ridiculous if you think about it. Pretty much he controls the narrative, what goes in, what comes out.
Yeah.
Because you cannot tell me he has no, input
But
on the editors and, what's
Let me
the
ask you
news
this question.
itself.
There are other people saying he has employed Ghanaians, so it shouldn't change anything. It is the Ghanaians that are.
I think that's
writing
wrong.
the
That's a
news.
wrong. Listen,
That's
because
a wrong approach to looking
I mean,
at it.
he didn't just open that just because he loves Ghana.
It's business.
He's not Ghanaian anyway. He's business. It's business. So whatever he would put out there to sell is what he will approve to be put out there. Doesn't matter if he's employed locals or not. It's just like this Murdoch media empire thing, CNN and all that. It is what the owner wants you to put out there that you put out there.
Yeah.
He won't approve of anything if he thinks that it's not going to make him money, because at the end of the day, it's all about making a profit.
money, yeah.
So I think that it doesn't matter whatever, as long as it's owned by an individual person who is again not a Ghanaian. He doesn't feel whatever he approves to be published would give him money. He's not going to approve it. So, of course, if it will even be better for him if all the news is not negative, but if it goes the way he or she wants it. So, I think that, like you said, allowing everything to every space, allowing foreigners to be able to own and run every space, that also has a problem. Because if you look at
TV3,
Ghana Telecom, it doesn't exist anymore. When we were young, we had Ghana Telecom. Ghana Airways, all these national.
I totally agree with you, because when you look at, for me, that is my word, because when a station can control what people see here, there was a time where everybody was complaining about a particular TV station that was showing, let's say, Kunkumbaja or those. It is TV3 came in, Metro TV, and they are not a Ghanaian-owned company, right? And they came, more or less, sunk the national, what do you call it, stations, right? Or station, right? Until date, GBC or our national station is struggling. But then those other stations are owned by foreigners, and they control what news will be told and what news cannot be told and stuff.
Yeah.
It affects the country. I think so. Every serious country controls the media space.
Yeah.
It's
its own media space.
Yes, its own media space.
But this is what makes me come back to cheddar again. Cause
Yes,
I always say the same thing. Like we've reiterated over and over. You have to listen to the message.
Yeah.
Right?
Not the messenger.
Forget about the messenger, because whatever the guy says, is there truth in what he's saying? Look around you, dig up your own whatever information research. Does what he says make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
But that's what I'm saying, because we're talking about, I don't know, the guy's from what? Is he Dutch? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, Dutch one from
running Ghana Web, right? At the end of the day, I do understand, but you have to understand that what really sells, abrasive news that goes against the grain, things that create traction, right? This is what people, because it's business.
Yeah.
So some of this media, they create stories and make people read and people talk about. But it does have an impact on society. It doesn't matter what you say. I mean, if you don't think so, then you're a moron for saying that. I always go back and bash this young, youthful, exuberant guys who have like the media platforms, saying they're not using them to educate other people.
Yeah.
They're not concise in things they deliver, right? Because if you look at somebody, they just, Cheddar says blah blah blah. He feeds 3 cows. I'm like, how does that make sense? I mean, you have a platform. Look at what the guy says, right? Put it out there. The guy says, there are like, expats or expatriates or outsiders running our media space, right? Then you talk about, you have to be concise in what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Forget about feeding the tigers. It's got no relevance to nothing. You get what I'm trying to say? So at the end of the day, somebody might say, oh yeah, but it's like he says that he might be bragging and all, but I'm like, how does that affect you as it's his private thing.
Yeah.
Let's look at the national ideas that he has. These are plans he said he has for society, the country as a whole. So that's what we should be. We have to be very concise and discuss things that really do matter, as opposed to the distractions.
What he's saying with regards to the media being owned by foreigners, and also these are it just doesn't stop there. It translates into all other aspects. If you look at all the big malls in Ghana, you look at all the big businesses, it's either owned by Lebanese, Indian. Like we're saying, we're not saying we don't need foreign
investments. Yeah, we do.
But what are we doing as leaders in terms of policy to make sure that there's equity in the amount of investment coming from all sectors? Because it's very dangerous when you have foreigners controlling
your media space,
media, telecom.
Yeah.
These are the mainstays.
Yes.
When someone else controls it, they dictate the tune.
Yeah.
They can shut off the internet, and you have. I mean, I think when there was a time he talked about. Let me chip in this quick. He talked about the even our telecom companies, right? He said as far back as in the 19s or 2000s, he came up with an idea about this online payment thing.
Yeah.
And that's what the telcos are doing now. Today, MTN is the richest bank in Africa. It's virtually become a bank because MTN is everywhere in Africa.
Yeah.
And they're running all these mobile payment systems.
Yeah.
They are richer than our banks.
Yeah.
But this is something that even if we had Ghana Telecom, they could have tapped into, and Ghana Telecom could have doubled as a bank. But today, MTN, which is a foreign-owned company, is running a telecom business, and is running the online banking system as well. So at the end of the day, you generate a lot of money, but it doesn't even stay in the system. It goes out. So I think, on the whole, my closing remarks are, these are the things that we should be critiquing and not focusing our attention on how many cows he feeds to his 2.
But how can you critique it when you are not the one presenting the narrative? The narrative is not in your hands.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, that I'm going to call him. Like, is it Scanty? This Kojo Sheldon?
And
partner, whatever.
Guys,
they were making, they're going on about all this brouhaha on their show and kind of laughing it off and stuff. But my point is, I mean, how does that really, come into the public space? This guy is aspiring to be president. Talk about his policies. Look into his background. Even look at his family life. You see somebody who structured his family properly. Because, I read a book once, right? If you cannot, arrange your own home, So be very careful pointing fingers and being like, I'm going to ring the world, right? I'm going to make the world a better place when your own home is in a mess. So we got to be looking at his background, his history, what he's achieved, what he's accomplished, right? The things he's saying. Is he just blowing them out of proportion or he's really got a point to things he says? Yeah. These are conversations we should be having. Not moronic and stupid stuff that just wastes people's time. Just for clickbaits and views.
We are refusing to think. Some group of people are refusing to think, or some part of the population we are refusing to think and start looking at things in a different light. And sometimes it has to do with our loyalty to political parties and individuals. So when a person like this young guy coming up, we want to question how he got his money. But when let's say Kojulo from some part in Africa comes and says, I'm building this, nobody questions, oh, this guy, he's a foreigner. We consider that person as a foreigner. But the moment your own comes and try to, hey, we can do this, tuno. Where you go get your money, self. You do this and that and that and that. And we've left all our stuff, especially, like you said, media. I
don't care about...
We are in the country, for a second, we are in the country that everything is controlled to some extent. Even in the Americas and Europe and their media, they don't joke with it. Because they know that can make and unmake a country within a second.
Mike Tyson, he said something in an interview once. He was like, if you want to see the soul of a country, right, just look at the advertisement on their TV. Right? And it's just, I thought about it, was like, it sounded like kind of like, shallow, but it's really, if you go on to Ghana media, right, TikTok, what do you see? Comedy. It's all comedy. You know what I mean?
They say in Ghana, all you need is data.
But that's what I'm saying. It's all comedy. So this is what it goes along, which is sometimes I think about. I'm like, it's like we're a bunch of comedians. You know what I mean? This guy says a lot of things that we do not pay attention to. I'm going to give it like a critical example. I mean, imagine, right, Elon Musk saying, I'm going to dredge a canal into Kumasi, or I'm going to, or I feed my tigers, whatever.
Oh, it's possible.
Would anybody say, oh, he's bragging, or he's not making it?
When the same
would anybody say that?
Said he would create a car that uses e batteries and stuff. He has done it, and he has created a tank.
Yeah, but that's what, okay. That was
you understand? Nobody doubted
that was
him.
before he blew up. But I'm talking about now. If you look at the guy's portfolio, his repertoire, right?
Now
his achievement.
Okay.
There's no way you're gonna doubt the guy. Right? But I'm sure he got lots of doubts when he had these visions. I find the same with this guy, right? Look at the guy's repertoire. Look at his portfolio, where he came from, where he started, and where he is now. So whatever he's saying, does it just sound like he's bragging? Or based on, like I said, his portfolio, you think this guy can do what he's saying? There's a lot of things we have to be looking at, as opposed to just getting on there and talking about.
Guys, the conversation is short. For me, I'd like us to continue, but because we are coming from a comedian country, I'm a comedian myself. Charlie, the tiger they chop four goats a day.
It doesn't affect me in any way.
It doesn't affect me in any way.
This is money,
Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comment. Whether you agree or disagree, just leave it. We will come back to you. DLS Wave. I'm out.